Today we're watching a Muslim who hated Israel until October 7th, and then he decided to draft into the IDF. Let's watch the video.
Why did you betray your religion?
I never betrayed anybody. My religion, my family. Being an Arab in Israel, you have to fill a certain expectation. I don't meet expectations. Hello, my name is Yahya Mohammed. I grew up hating Israel, and after October 7th, I'm in the ranks of the IDF, protecting the only Jewish country.
X is the most important social media platform in the world. On the free speech platform, everyone's thoughts and questions matter. That's why we let you ask your questions through Visegrad24.
Do you feel a Muslim living in Israel or an Israeli that is Muslim?
I feel that I am an Israeli who happens to be Muslim. I love it when I go abroad to Europe or America and they see my Israeli passport, and when they open it expecting my name to be David or something else, and they see Mohammed, and I see the eyebrow just raising, their confusion. And yes, Israel is just a melting pot of different cultures, and I think it's not known enough.
And that's what I try to tell people every time when I talk about the Muslims living in Israel, the Arabs, the Christians. Israel's a melting pot. You can go to the beach in Tel Aviv on any given day, and you'll see Muslims, you'll see Jews bathing side by side, not necessarily liking each other in some cases, but it is a melting pot. People live here freely. There's no apartheid. There's no ethnic cleansing, and this is a prime example of exactly that. Let's continue.
Are you Sunni or Shia?
Israel has only Sunni Muslims, but we have other kind of Muslims living in here. But I am Sunni and the majority are Sunni.
Ask him if he knows what the Quran is.
Yes, the Quran is our holy book. And before joining the IDF, I was part of a movement called the Islamic movement. And part of the first things that I remember from my childhood was that they wanted to send me to India to convert people to Islam.
Something people are trying to check if he's a real Muslim because they can't comprehend the fact that a Muslim would join the IDF, which he clearly did. But they're trying to check his authenticity as a Muslim, which is there's 20% Muslims living in Israel. 20%. He is one of them. Okay, and they live there freely. They can do whatever they want, just like I said before. Yeah, let's continue.
I was praying 5 times a day. I was part of the community in the masjid. I know very well what the Quran is.
Why are you still Muslim if Quran 5:51 says do not take unbelievers as your friend?
We cannot live in 2024 and...
The Quran also says that the Jews are the people of the book. So why do they consider us in the Quran as disbelievers? Yeah, that just shows you that in the Quran, there's a lot of hateful comments against disbelievers, which are the Christians and the Jews, and anyone that doesn't believe in Muhammad the Prophet, which Jews don't, Christians don't, and non-Muslims don't. So all of us are disbelievers. So none of us can be their friends, according to what he said.
Follow every letter to the exact thing that's written. We have imams who have decided to go forward and put Muslims on the right path to civilization and to outcast people who believe in the literacy of doing everything literally in the Quran. That's a very bad thing to consider. We can't read every holy book and do exactly that. They were written a few thousand of years ago. I think they don't exactly fit today's narrative.
And the people that take the Quran to almost to the letter is an organization that you all know. It's called Daesh or ISIS. They try to take the Quran to the letter. And we all know what that led to. So that's what he's saying. And I agree.
Do you scream Allahu Akbar when engaging enemies?
No, I usually say that in the shower. No.
If you are a Muslim, why did you join IDF? Islam prohibits every action these forces commit.
It's very funny because one of the things that all religions share between Christianity, Judaism, and Islam is a verse that I like to remember all the time. Whomever saves one soul, it's like they saved the entire world. And whoever kills one soul is like they killed the entire world. So I viewed it as my #1 mission in the IDF is just to save one person. Every soldier in some sense or another is carrying this with him, and it's very beautiful.
How do they sleep, referring to Muslims in the IDF, honestly?
I sleep very well. I sleep very well knowing that during my entire service there was never a terrorist attack in my area where I served. I have only seen smiles and civilians who went out and enjoyed their day while I'm on duty.
Do you think Israel brutally murdered thousands of innocent children?
I don't think we targeted children. We never do target children. There are collateral damage and it is sad. It's very sad. It affected me. Seeing blood on the ground affects every human being. But I can sleep very well knowing that we did not target specifically children and civilians. We do everything we can not to do that.
And that's exactly what I say every single time. We do not target innocent civilians. We absolutely don't. In some scenarios, civilians die because this is war, and this is chaos, and this is the outcome of the horrific act of war. And then Hamas posts this on social media and posts this on their Telegram page and on Twitter, making you believe that Israel targets civilians. But no, if you go to any war on the planet, in Ukraine, Russia, you'll see the same things. You go to the civil war in Syria, you'll see the same things. Congo, Sudan, you'll see the same things. But the fact that Hamas chooses specifically to use these tactics and upload graphic photos of children and babies on social media to make you believe like we target them, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make you feel and think that we do it on purpose. We don't do it on purpose. This whole thing could have been prevented if they would not have attacked Israel.
Did your service affect your faith, made it stronger, weaker, altered it?
It made it much, much more complicated to go to a mosque that I don't know out of my community, to pray. It became more challenging after I joined the army. And not only that, I do Israel advocacy and my face is known to other Arabs. So it made things complicated. But recently I have seen more religious figures opening spaces for people like me in their mosques. A lot of Israeli Arabs, young people, saw what I did and decided to follow through. And some did, including a very religious Muslim woman who went and enrolled to be a combat soldier in the IDF. So she was wearing the IDF uniform with a head covering and an M16. Seeing examples like that really give me a lot of energy to continue forward.
After what they did on October 7th, with the abduction of Israeli civilians, including Jews, Arabs, and of course Thai people that came to work in Israel and other people as well, the Muslims and Arabs who live here finally realized that they're not safe from Hamas. They're not protected, because a lot of the Muslim world considers the Muslims living in Israel traitors, as collaborators, as brainwashed Muslims, brainwashed by Israeli society. This guy woke up, and it's making me very happy to see. Very happy to see.
You get accommodations to practice your faith.
There's a time to pray, there's a time to fast. They accommodated me on every single thing. I also accommodated them because I went to the IDF to serve the people, and I saw it. My personal opinion was that there's a limit to my needs, and the big majority is going to be to what the country needs.
If he falls in combat, does he get 72 virgins in heaven?
No, my girlfriend forbids me. No 72 virgins for me.
Do you consider yourself also a Palestinian? What is a Palestinian identity to you?
I don't consider myself as a Palestinian. My grandmother, who was born in Tulkarem in the West Bank, she identified as Palestinian. I always say that my grandmother is Palestinian, but I am not. She was the biggest Zionist I've ever met.
Do you think it is right to serve in an army that considers you a second-class citizen, or a country that marginalized you by calling itself a Jewish state?
I haven't seen it, but I'm guessing that he's going to say that Israel doesn't have second-class citizens at all, and that he's not considered a second-class citizen. Just something I think he's going to say. I have not seen this video before.
Only.
But we never called ourselves a Jewish state. We are a Jewish democratic state. Every day of my last 6 months in the army, I was in charge of raising the flag and saluting it every morning. And we sing Hatikva. It never missed my mind that this is a Jewish country. But at the same time, there are also Israeli Arabs who are living here who have the sky is the limit, really. The sky is the limit. However much somebody wants to get in and integrate into the bigger Israeli society, you can do it.
Do you support the demolition of Al-Aqsa Mosque and building the third temple on top of it?
The first nation that allowed the Jews to pray freely on the Temple Mount were the Muslims. And I believe in my mind that we will live to see a day where Muslims and Jews pray on the Temple Mount right next to one another.
Amen. I don't know if I agree with what he said, because Jews were prevented to go into the cave of the patriarchies for 700 years by Muslim rulers. They controlled the city of Hebron, and only when Israel liberated Hebron in 1967, only then Jews were allowed to go into the cave of the patriarchies. Before that, they were not allowed to go inside, only up to the 5th step of the cave, which is considered to be one of the holiest sites for the Jews besides Temple Mount. They were able to go to holy sites before. I'm talking specifically about the cave of the patriarchies. But I wish this day could come. Not most people are like him, so hopefully that's something that could take place.
My faith, my moral compass tells me that my prayer will not be heard if I demolish another person's temple to build mine. Now, the status quo on the Temple Mount, there's a lot of things to say about it, but I think demolition and stuff like that is out of the question.
I think the reason why Al-Aqsa Mosque was built specifically on the holiest site for the Jews is there's no bigger competition on a place of worship. There's no better competition to obtain this place, build your temple on top of their holiest site, and by doing that, you show dominance. That's how I feel like Islam acted when they decided to build Al-Aqsa Mosque on top of the holiest site for the Jews. Do I think this place has any legitimacy to be on top of the holiest site of the Jews? I don't. Is this place preventing the building of the third temple? I do think so. Will we see a day where Jews and Muslims can pray side by side on Temple Mount? I really don't think so. I don't think this day will come.
What has Israel done for you?
Israel has given me a home. Israel has kept my family safe. Israel gave me a safe space where I can study, where I have a very stable life, which is a luxury apparently in the Middle East. Israel gave me sense of security and opportunities that I will not find anywhere else in the Middle East.
What do you think about all the pro-Palestinians calling Israel an apartheid state?
To say misinformed, to say the least. But the Palestinian was never about the Palestinians. It was never about the Palestinians. It was never about Palestine. It was about just attacking Jews.
Exactly what I've been saying every single video that I make. It was never about Palestine. Ever. It was only about attacking Jews. This is a religious conflict. Religious. Nothing political. You can go to Palestinians in Gaza, you can go to Palestinians in Judea and Samaria and ask them, tell them, what do you believe in? Do you believe in a two-state solution? Awesome. Then you have to recognize the fact that the Jews can call this place a home. It is their homeland. They can call it Israel. And you have to live side by side with the Jews. Will you accept it? I want to see how many people say yes.
And now the Jewish nation has a country. And now they want to attack the Jewish country using Palestinians and Palestine as a tool. If this was taken out of the equation, another thing would be brought into the equation to fill this void.
What do Muslim IDF soldiers say to other Muslims who accuse them of being traitors?
The IDF stands at the borders of Israel, protecting everybody inside the country. The IDF stopped weapons from being smuggled into Israel, and we know that Israeli Arab communities are suffering from violent crimes right now, and those weapons that are being stopped by the IDF and drugs making their way into our Arab community. Israeli Arabs should serve in the IDF because the benefit of it to our community is just absolutely massive.
Will IDF soldiers be deployed in Gaza who have relatives in the Gaza Strip?
The IDF actually avoids that. The IDF actually avoids that. They asked me, I have family in the West Bank, and they asked me when I drafted, where does my family live exactly? So they make sure that I don't operate in the same thing. The Israeli police follows the same statute. It's a very known thing.
Should an Israeli be able to build a house in the West Bank?
This question implies that those people are doing something wrong, and it puts me as an Israeli Arab in an awkward situation. Because if they're doing something wrong by living in the West Bank, just simply existing in the West Bank, then what do we say about the 2 million Arabs who are living in Israel? Are they also doing something that they're not supposed to do? It's a very short-sighted question.
Very smart guy. I haven't seen him before. I don't think there's anything wrong with building settlements in Judea and Samaria. Judea and Samaria has been the historic homeland of the Jews for thousands of years. Therefore, they can build homes wherever they want. Of course, there's right now, if we talk about legal terms, we have Area A, Area B, and Area C. Area C is controlled by Israel. Area B is controlled by both, and Area A is controlled by the Palestinian Authority. The way to remember it is that A means Arab, B means both, and C means, actually technically doesn't mean anything, but C just helps me realize that it's controlled by Israel. So they can build homes because it's Israeli territory. I don't believe you should build homes in Jenin. I don't believe you should build homes in Ramallah, or I don't believe you should build homes in Arab villages. But if it's disputed territory, if it's, Area C or Area B, then what's the problem? What's the problem? The people making it an issue are the Palestinians, thinking that they build it on occupied land. It never was occupied land.
Do you think there should be a Palestinian state?
I think that the future that I have in Israel and the future that my neighbors have in the West Bank are very much tied together. Whatever future happens there and whatever they achieve, it affects me, and whatever I achieve, they affect them. A statehood or not, it doesn't matter. The first step that we need to do is stop the violence.
I don't think a Palestinian state should take place, because the whole idea of Palestinian identity was created to erase Jews, to erase Zionists. And it was an idea that was created by Yasser Arafat in 1964 to make the Palestinian people, the Arabs of the region, the indigenous people, to turn them, to make them seem like they're the indigenous people, which I'm against. Therefore, a Palestinian state that was offered already 3 times in the year 2000, in the year 2005, and in the year 2008. We all saw the outcome of all of it. 2000 led the Second Intifada, bus bombings, explosives. 2005 led to thousands and thousands of rocket attacks from the Gaza Strip. And 2008 as well. We had rockets from the Gaza Strip as well. So we offer, they say no, they attack. So no, it was never about Palestinian land or a Palestinian country.
What would you advise Hamas leaders as a Muslim?
I already advised the late Yahya Sinwar to release the hostages on Israeli national TV. That was the only way we could end the war. Unfortunately, my voice went into the pool of many other voices in Arabic and Hebrew and English and any other language, but Hamas is deaf. I wait as an Israeli soldier, I wait for the proud Palestinian leader that loves their people more than they hate Israel to come. I still have yet to see another leader like that.
Beautiful, beautiful video. There has yet to be a Palestinian leader that cares about the Arabs living in Judea and Samaria and the Arabs living in Gaza more than they hate us. And that is, of course, a sentence by Golda Meir. She said, "The day we will have peace is the day where the Arabs will love their children more than they hate us." Truly a timeless quote. These types of people are super, super important and crucial for the Jews around the world, for the Israelis around the world, for the image of Israel around the world, because these prime examples of Arabs and Muslims living in Israel, being able to serve in the army, being able to start businesses, being able to vote, being able to feel secure and safe, these are the people that do the best advocacy for our people. And I commend him for it. He's a great guy. I'm probably going to contact him and maybe make a video with him. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and leave a comment down below. Whatever you want to comment. You want to comment about my hair? Comment about my hair. You want to comment about the situation in Israel? Comment about the situation in Israel. You want to talk about ice cream? Do that. Thank you for watching the video. Until next time. See you.